I've had the fortunate opportunity that people have sampled my records. I've actually had producers who chopped up my records and just submitted it as a new creation for me to write to. And of course, like I said, I've sampled plenty on my own, whether it was a producer did a beat for me and had a sample, or I actually sampled something. You know, I come from, once again, I'm not one who really quick to say I wrote something. I'm more that I found it. I created. Yo, all the notes already exist. All the words already exist. We just find an inspiration. So at the same time, you know, one, you paying homage because we playing those records. We going through, I don't know many people who sample who they just like, I don't want to hear the song. I don't want to know about the album. I just want the loop, you know, or I want that kick, or I just want whatever. More times than not, we've been vibing out to this vinyl. I could go into that little storage room back there and just show you vinyl upon vinyl, as well as CDs upon CDs, and we've just studied it. And we, you know, every once in a while you find this little piece, you go, oh my God. And you know, and you know, there's plenty of people who are gifted like a Jay Dilla or Ninth, who is like, I could take this note from this record and then take that snare from this record and that chord from this record, and I could put it all together and manipulate it into something totally brand new. I mean, it's no different than experimenting. I mean, when Herbie Hancock heard hip hop and started applying it to jazz music, when Miles Davis heard Jimi Hendrix and started dressing differently. And of course, once he started dressing differently, he started playing differently. He started applying electronics to jazz music. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's about learning and growing and what you can create off of what you were inspired by. Everything is a aha moment, everything, right? So sure, how you choose, I mean, we can go, and no shot whatsoever am I saying this, no, you can go track masters and there's still an art form into like really like just kind of repeating the energy of a same record. Like I'm not really chopping it up, I'm just creating the same feel. And that's an art in its own. They got tons of plaques to show and prove of that. And some people may look at that as like, whatever. And some people may look at like, I done chopped this up to the point where you'll never know what this is and still be like, But at the end of the day, all of it is still comes from this. No be dope? All of it. You know what I'm saying? So I can't sit back and if you take a track of mine or a line of mine and it inspires something totally different, Merry Christmas, that's what it's for. That's what it's for. Now we can get into the business of like approving samples and stuff like that. And that's a whole nother aspect. And, you know, hopefully people will receive their rewards that whether financially or just people can go back and find what that original record is. You know, that's the whole side. But if we're just talking creativity wise, I've learned, man, that cat sitting at the drum machine sampling is the same thing as that cat sitting at the Fender Rhodes playing. It's just another art form. It's another art form of creativity. And there ain't but so many notes on that Fender Rhodes, so you playing notes that somebody else played, you know? And there's another keyboardist who can say back in the day, like, you know, some old head, like, that's my chord, yo. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, sure, you know, somebody can frown upon it, but it's a whole art form, man. I grew up in Jersey. I remember when hip hop was just starting. As a little kid, I remember how excited I was to hear about what was happening, you know. And as it grew, it was beautiful. And I applied it to gospel music. I applied it to R&B. I applied it to rock and roll, all the other music forms that I was loving. So it's just another art form, man. And it's the same thing as like, you know, when people frowned on rock and roll when it first started, you know, but it's sampling is important. You know what I mean? It is important. And even a lot of cats who frowned upon it eventually went to it, you know, went to it. So more power, just keep creating.